Hi everyone, hope you're well. It's Bernard here on behalf of MoveItGameNostalgia.com. Different place today, always moving around trying to find good places to do this sort of thing. Right, it's Tuesday, so it's our regular look at a board game. We're going back to the wonderful Waddingtons today. Obviously, it's copyright 1970, the exploration game. I think it was actually put together in 1967. It's the sort of game I probably would have played as a kid. You know, the sort of game I would have enjoyed. But I missed this along the way somewhere. Never played exploration, which is a shame because it's a nice little game. What is it? Well, obviously we know about Waddingtons, don't we? Established in 1922 in Leeds, England. Obviously they were taken over in the 90s by Hasbro, so they've become part of that. But these exploration games, they're quite readily available on various auction sites, etc. And you can get it anything between £20 and £30. Obviously, it's on my MoveItGameNostalgia.com website at the moment. I've got a couple of these. One with little pawns. I've noticed one of the pawns slightly different, but it doesn't matter for this game. To be honest with you, it doesn't make a lot of difference if you're checking and trying to buy these things. Make sure they're complete. But pawns and things like that can be bought as spares anyway. You can use any pawns for any game really. There's no significance in this game for the pawns. So anyway, if you like what we do, please push the old subscribe button and push the bell notification so you know when these things are coming out. Right, a little bit about exploration. It's players compete to see who can organise the most final. This is from the instructions for financially successful expedition, collecting valuable records and specimens. There are 2 land expeditions, mountaineering and archaeology, and 2 sea expeditions, sailing and diving. In the first part of the game, each player must obtain men. So it's a 2-part game. Each player must obtain men and equipment cards for 1 expedition. When players have them ready, they must start their expeditions. Each player must go on a different expedition. So even though you can collect cards for separate expeditions, you can then decide which one you want to do. And with the cards, you can actually swap them with other players or sell stuff as well. So, you know, there's an element of bargaining goes into it. So perhaps before you set off on this game, set some rules about how much you can charge people for things, make a limit and stuff like that, because you can get a bit silly otherwise, can't it? In Monopoly, when you're sort of buying property from other players and they want a ridiculous amount of money, it's always nice to set limits, I think, and things like that. And the same with this game. If you're going to buy stuff off other players, or just swap stuff if you've got a piece of equipment they want, or vice versa, just to swap the equipment. You don't have to. Money doesn't have to change hands. During the expeditions, which take place on the central part of the board, I'll show you the board in a minute. A special dice. So we have a normal dice, and it's called a Dyra dice. Is used to determine direction and distance of each move. Players must go from base to their main objectives and then return to base. They can also visit less important objectives if they have the correct men. So yeah, so there's one big challenge, but obviously there's other little challenges within the game. It's all about money. So it's the one who ends the game with the most money wins the game, basically. It's all about getting as much as you can and getting as much money as you can. Unfortunately, you're going to lose money as well during the game and obviously spend money to your expedition, etc. The winner is the one who makes the most profits from his expedition. Money can be obtained in the following ways. Each player receives a sum from the bank to start with, from other players by selling equipment, in special awards from the Exploration Club, by reaching objectives during the expedition, and by returning to base first, second, or third. So there's prize money, first one back after they've reached the objective, the first one back to base, then gets an amount, second one back to base. So there's an element of players, perhaps once you've won the game, you're going to be waiting for other players as well. So there's a little bit of element to that, but it's while you wait for other players to finish, you can have a bit of fun, can't you? And just have a laugh at them while they're trying to do their challenges, etc. There's also a short game, which is one where you're automatically given an expedition to go on, and you don't actually have to collect the cards, etc. So it's basically just the expedition game, which it's just a shorter version of it. It's quite good. So we've got preparation. We've got 4 different types of equipment cards for diving, sailing, archaeology, and mountaineering. So I'll show you the stuff now that we've got on the board, so you can have a good look at the board. It's a nice board, nicely put together, nicely colourful, as you can see. Really, really good. You got all the different. These are the challenges. I mean, the outer board is where first of all you go around and collect all your equipment. Each player. You start from there, preparation, start, finish, and once you've got, you need to collect 2 men and 2 items of equipment to start your expedition. So once you've got that, and you go and working your way around the board, you need to get back to there and get back to base to start the game. Now the thing is, obviously, if you're struggling to collect things, obviously in a 4, I'll take you through a 4-player game. The first 2 players to start off on the expedition, players 3 and 4 can then do it with a limited. They don't have to have 2 men or 2 items of equipment. They can do it with 1 man as long as he's the main guy, as long as obviously the main mountaineer guy if you're going over to the mountains. So obviously players 3 and 4 don't have to wait particularly. They can then collect things and go to the base and start after players 1 and 2. So it means obviously it's a bit fairer obviously for players. You know, if you're lagging behind or something like that, it gives you a chance so that people could be halfway through the expedition and you could just be starting, and obviously it lengthens the game and less chance of you winning the game and winning the money, obviously. So let's have a look at the little things we've got. We've got the pawns, the basic pawns. As I said, very standard. Obviously, as I said, I've got a slightly different one there. I'll swap that with some spare pawns I've got anyway, if anyone was interested in this game, for instance. So you got the 4 pawns, the 4 colours. Yellow for archaeology, blue for sailing, 3 for red for mountaineering, and green for diving. So you got the 4 colours, which you'd all start off, obviously the normal. You got the normal dice, which is what you'd roll to move into the spaces. Also, if you get a 6, when you throw, you have the option of moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So if there's something you want to do on this outer rim, something you want to collect, then obviously you can actually choose how many numbers you're gonna go, and you keep going around this board till you collected your 2 men and your 2 items of equipment, enough to go on the expedition. What else have we got? Well, these are the cards. These are the playing cards. These are the personnel cards. So for each side, so the mountaineering, there'll be a shop card. So if you own that card, you're given 3 cards to start with in the 4-player game. If you got that card and you own the shop card, anyone buying that equipment has to give you the money. So you collect money that way by owning the shop. To actually do the game, you obviously need 2 personnel. So to go on the mountaineering challenge, you would need the main guy. That's him. You can't go on it without him, plus one of these other 2. So the biologist or the guide. So you need 2 of those to start the expedition. So for each of the things, obviously that's the mountaineering, the reds, the blues is the sailing, the greens are the diving, and the yellows are the archaeologists. So obviously the archaeologist is land-based, the sailing is sea-based, the mountaineering is land-based, and the diving obviously is sea-based. So 2 of you are going to go out on the sea when you're moving, and 2 of you are going to move over land, as you can see there. So what else have we got? Well, we've got the equipment cards. You'll need equipment cards. So obviously for diving, you'll need certain equipment. So you need to collect those. For mountaineering, you'll need certain equipment. So you'll need to collect those. For archaeology, you'll need equipment. So you need to collect at least 2 of those, obviously, every time. But there's 4, so you get a choice. If you end up collecting 4, you can, but obviously it's going to cost you more money. But you have more chance of completing certain things on the board. And you have the sailing, which you have your equipment for. So as you said, the whole idea is to collect two men, 2 personnel cards and 2 equipment cards before you set off on your expedition. So when you complete that aspect of the game, once you've gone around the outside, there's chance cards as well, which are called exploration club cards, which are these. You can land on any of these squares there, and it may be something good, it may be something bad. So like that one there, you may charge an extra £100 on all sales of equipment. So if you own a shop and someone wants to buy something, it allows you to charge an extra £100. And if the guy wants it, he's going to have to pay you the money. So there's good things and the bad things. There might be, go to the next square of your choice. There's some in there where, yeah, exploration club arrears, you have to pay £100 to the bank. And obviously there's a bank with the prize fund, and all the prize fund goes in it. And you decide how much obviously on the instructions, how much the winner gets, etc. So you work your way around the outside. And the basic is to get everyone onto the base to start the exploration. As I said, obviously some players 3 and 4, you don't always have to collect the same amount of items. But if you look at the board, the sailing, obviously he's going to be always going at sea. This is where this die is put away. You don't need that die anymore. When you actually start the game, you've got your little tokens. So you've got a little boat. That's for your diving. That's your big diving boat there. See the diving boat? Sailing boat. So that's your sailing boat. A tent. That's for your mountaineering. Little Land Rover there, a little Land Rover. So these are the items. These, once you've been around the outside, you got to your base, you started your thing. Obviously, you then use these tokens. Obviously, the boats can only go on the water, and the Land Rover and the tent, obviously, is your archaeology move. Now, if you look at the little squares, you all have little images on them. Now, when you throw your diorama dice, which is the fun dice, it's got all different things. You can't. Some you can move one in one direction. Some you can move one in one direction, but 2 in another direction. So you can go zigzags. You can go diagonally. You can go across. You can go the letter L shape. So depending what you throw on this is how you move on the board. So obviously, unless you've actually got this square there, there's a sextant on this square if you're out at sea. So unless you've got a sextant card, you can't go onto that square. So if you're there, obviously, and you want to, if you're there and you want to go there, you can't go on it. So you're going to have to find a way around it. So obviously, by throwing the dice, it tells you which way you can go. Sometimes you go diagonally, sometimes you do a letter L, but you can't pass through that square unless you've got the sextant card. So there's limitations to how you can travel about. The objective for the sailing guy is to get over to the island. That's the main objective. Get over to the island with your main man, and then it's back to base. But obviously, in the meantime, there's little things you can do. There's little challenges. So in the book, obviously, there's a rare fish. You can try and find this rare fish. And if you can land on the rare fish square, you don't have to land in it by an exact number. You get money for that. So that's your sailing, obviously. You dive in is another thing. You dive in, you got little challenges, obviously, with the diving. You've got a pearl challenge there. You can dive for pearls. But your main objective with this is to get over to the sunken galleon. Once you get over to the sunken galleon, get that, then it's back to base to win the game, or at least finish 2nd or 3rd, depending how the game's going. On land, you've got your tent, which is obviously for the mountaineering. So your aim is to get to the top of the mountain. And again, there's limitations on land. There's little pictures where some squares you can't go on. You have to be careful, so you have to travel around. Some areas are dangerous. Any black dotted lines are dangerous. You can't actually go in them unless you're holding certain cards again. So again, it's all strategy, what you're going to do to get to there and then get back again. And if you look at this one, the poor guy in the car, I suppose it's a good job he's got a Land Rover, isn't it? He has to get from there all the way around to there. But the thing is, that's the lost city. But the thing is, you actually get more. So he'll actually get more for doing that and getting back. Obviously, if he doesn't get back first, he won't win as much money. But again, it's a challenge, a strategy of what you decide to do, what you think, do you want to go for the easier tasks? Do you want to go for the, if you're in the sailing, is it easier to go over there? Or if you're on the diving boat, is it easier to go over there? But don't forget, it's all based on the roll of dice as well. And you're only ever moving 1 or 2 sections on this. So it's not as though you can throw a 6 and move six squares in a direction. You're actually only moving 1 or 2. So it looks complicated, but all the things are on there. All the direction movements are on there, so which correspond with the dice. So it is quite simple, although it looks quite good. The rule book's only, 6 pages. It's not overly complicated. It's quite simple to follow. And obviously the winner is the one who gets most of the money. That's the other thing we've got. Obviously, you're given about £1,500 or notes to start off with. So you got all the money which you get awarded. You'll get awarded. You'll pay money out during the game to get your equipment, etc. Well, that's it. That's your objective there. He's got to get to there. The boat's got to get to the sunken galleon, and the mountaineer's got to get up the mountain. And these are all the little tasks. These are all, so obviously the archaeologists, there's some urns there, some Greek urns, obviously some rare plants there. You want to find some rare plants for the biologist who's on the Lost City expedition. So that's basically it's a simple dice game. I mean, there are elements of strategy, obviously, and the more cards you've got, the more equipment cards you've got, the more squares you can go on, the less stymied you are by moving. So it's all very clever strategy. It can take 30 and 45 minutes. Obviously, a 2-player game. There's 2, 3, and 4 player games. The simple game, you just discount this outside thing. So you literally all give yourself or pick or throw the dice, choose which expedition you're going on, and you start from base and just go on your expedition with whatever cards you dealt, or you can buy some cards, etc. So there are ways to tweak it to make it a little bit more interesting. But this expedition game by Waddingtons, I mean, it's well presented, really, really nice to look at. The cards are nice and strong, nice and firm cards as well. So there's an element of like Monopoly and stuff to it. You know, if you own a shop, you can earn some money. So, you know, if you've got 2 or 3 shop cards you collect, that's great. You can get more and more money. So even though you may not be able to get the most money for doing this challenge, the Lost Temple, you can earn money from the shop. So there's different ways of earning money and winning the game as well. But it's all good fun. I hope you like that. I mean, I like it's a game I'd play now. Can more than 4 play? Probably not. You could probably buy spares and do it obviously with more than 4 players. But when you're out on your expeditions and you're coming back, it can get a bit. Look at that gap there. There's 4 things you need. So as long as you've got one of them, you should be okay. But if you can't move, if you throw the dice and you can't move, you just have to wait till your next go and you just can't move. Or you may even be able to go, but you can go backwards, obviously, or, you know, backwards. So you should be able to maneuver yourself through little gaps and stuff like this there. If you want to quickly get over, you can go work your way around. Obviously there, if you think about it, it'll take you longer. But don't forget, you're only getting 1 or 2 goals on your diary dice. So if you want to work around, it'll take longer. But to get through these little gaps, you do need certain items of equipment or the luck of the throw on the diary dice. So it is good. It is good fun. It looks a little bit more complicated than it is. It's not quite simple, isn't it? I mean, the 60s, it's a nice and roll with a little bit of strategy thrown in. I'd recommend that. As I say, between £20 and £30 on the various websites. If you buy it secondhand, do be careful, as you say, that you get all the bits. But as I said, the pawns, you can buy them anywhere, can't you? But obviously, it's nice to have all the little sailing boats and the Land Rover, etc. The actual parts. Yep, so it's a good 4-player game. Hope you enjoyed that. I've seen a small video on it on YouTube, but this is not to any great extent. So I think that tells you a little bit more about it. And it's nice to have little challenges as well throughout. And again, you can tweak the game. So some of these squares with the images on, perhaps they become little challenges where you win money as well. So, you know, if you've got younger players, perhaps you want a bit more fun during the game. So again, do that. Do use if you land on such and such a square, or put something on this little sticker on the square that you can peel off, and just little challenges for kids to go. You've got to, you know, because there's not many on it. There's not many small objectives. It's all the big objectives. So put a few small ones on there so they can collect as much money as they can, and play it like that. Just tweak it a little bit. But the game itself is pretty good to play on its own. Anyway, thanks for watching that. Please, if you to keep up to date on all my stuff, follow me on Twitter at nostalgia_movie. I'm on Facebook under Burdening with links to movie game nostalgia.com, which is my website where all these board games are, plus old rare DVDs and obviously movie posters. And obviously on Burdening YouTube, I do a board game review every week. I think this is number 16 or so. So I've done 16 board games over now. I'll keep doing those as long as anyone's interested, I'll keep doing those. And obviously I do my film reviews, poster reviews, and obviously if you're into football, I do a little Manchester City vlog on the football team, Manchester City. Obviously I look at City's history and City's current goings on, which obviously can be better, but hey, great team at the moment. I'm lucky, aren't I? I support a really good team at the moment, doing really well at the moment, so can't complain about that. So please get along and watch that. Hope you enjoyed this. Please push the old subscribe button, that'd be great. Push the bell notification so you know when these come out. Just tell your friends. I mean, even if you're only interested in board games or you're interested in the DVDs, only one thing, you don't have to obviously just push it, and I'll push the bell notifications and you know when specific things are coming out. Thanks for watching anyway. Whatever you do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourself, look after your friends, and more importantly, look after your family. And I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.